Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Warm welcome to session 22. We are on chapter 3, Karma Yoga, Yoga of Action. Today is going to be a very interesting session because we're going to learn two very key concepts, Purpose of Gita and the Delusion of Doership. Let's agenda. This time we'll be having one extra verse just to complete the section, 25 to 32, with key learnings, quiz, followed by audience reflections. I urge all of you to try and participate in the session. We'll make it as lively as possible. Question and answers to follow. I start with offering humble obeisances to my Guru Maharaj, His Highness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and my Shiksha Guru, Gaurilas Prabhuji. I seek their blessings so that I can speak a few words on these important verses and we all can immerse ourselves into learning the wisdom of Gita. The Goloka Express is chugging along quite well. We are in chapter 3. We're going to, as I mentioned, we are on action, Karma Yoga. We're going to study Purpose of Gita, Delusion of Doership as concepts today. We have gone through this slide. The acronym of chapter 3 is TREE. T stands for Tyaga, renunciation, or work, which is better. We have gone through this section. Rungs on Yoga Ladder, verses 10 to 16, where we saw we can start from animal life and go up to the highest level, and that's Bhakti Yoga. We have completed this section too. We are on E, exemplary Karma Yogi. This is a long part in this chapter. So running from 17 to 35, we are in this part, and we will go through how Krishna advises us to be a Karma Yogi. The last E is enemy of soul. We will take this up in the subsequent classes. What did we study in the last class? Just as a quick recap. So we studied in verses 13 or 3.18 and 19, self-realization and detachment. The verses, essence of these verses is the self-realized gains nothing from action or inaction. A very powerful learning for all of us. So that's the meaning of self-realization. Going forward from 3.20 to 3.24, Amrendra Prabhuji covered how one has to perform his duties for Loka Sangraha, for the welfare of the entire world. And he quoted examples of Janak Maharaja in verse 3.20, where he says, and just to give you an insight, Janak Maharaja is the only king who is mentioned by name in entire Gita. So you can understand the significant position that Janak Maharaj holds in the world because he is a king, but he is quoted in the top scriptures of the world. Why? Because he achieved perfection, liberation, solely by performance of prescribed duties. There are wonderful stories about Janak Maharaj which I can share, but then I'm conscious of time. Maybe we will have a reflection session when we will share why Janaka is so famous. Yes, he is the father of Rama, but he as a king was an example by himself. Then in 3.23, we studied this most important verse where Krishna says, Mama vartamano vartante manushyaha partha sarvasaha. He says, even though I am the Supreme Lord, when I am in this world, I performed detached engagement for welfare of the three worlds. So even Krishna is saying, I lead by example. The purport says, for if I ever failed to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. So he says, to set the right example, I will engage in prescribed duties in this world. Then he ends in this last verse. He says, I am here and I do my prescribed duties because I have to save not only this world, the entire three worlds. In 3.24, he says, Upsideyu rime loka na kuryam karma chedaham. What is the translation? He says, if I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. So this is the verse at which we ended, where we have understood that Krishna says, I'm not saying this to you, Arjuna. I'm also giving you my own example as to how I am doing my prescribed duties when I am here in this world. With that, let's look at what we are going to study today. We are, as I mentioned, we are on exemplary Karma Yogi part. We are going to study verses 3.25 to 3.32. The first two verses is Krishna advises Arjuna how we should guide the ignorant. In the next verses, he talks about ego and gunas. Gunas means the three modes. And that's where this powerful lesson of delusion of doership is explained to Arjuna by Krishna. Purpose of Gita in 3.27 to 3.29, surrender and liberation in the last two verses, 3.31 to 3.32. With that, let's take the first verse of the day. So, this is what is exemplary Karma Yogi? It is nothing but Nishkam Karma Yoga, set the correct example. So, however self realized we are, however good a devotee we are, we have understood the essence of living in this world, but we must perform our prescribed duties to set the correct example. And he also says, not only you perform your prescribed duties, do not try to interfere in a person who is ignorant. That is what we are going to see in the coming verse now. Let's go to this verse. Sakta karmani avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tata shaktaha chikirshur loka sangraham. So what is the essence of this verse is act without attachment to set an example. And going forward, we will see how nicely Krishna tells Arjuna how we should conduct ourselves. So we have powerful lessons to learn, and that shows us the path to execute Karma Yoga and live successfully in this world. What is the translation? As the ignorant, yatha avidvamsaha, perform their duties with attachment. Yes, they are ignorant, so they will always perform their duties with attachment. They are karma kandis. Sakta karmani kurvanti. Two results. They are attached to what? They are attached to the results. The learned who are vidwan, tatha vidwan, may similarly act, perform the same prescribed duties, but without attachment. Asakta karmani kuryat. For what? For the sake of leading people on the right path. Loka sangraham chikirsur. That is what is the translation of this verse. Let's look at the explanation so that we can understand what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna. Sakta karmani avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata. He is talking about avidvamso, person who is ignorant. And what is the motive of a attached ignorant person is he is attached. What is he attached to? He is attached to the results. He is working for results. What is the difference between an attached ignorant person and a self-realized person? That's what Krishna is trying to tell us in this verse. What is this person up to? He says, I will work with attachment to the results. Kuryat vidwams tata sattha. He is a self-realized person. So Krishna is giving us a contrast between an avidvamso and a vidwan. How he is. How is he going to behave? What is his characteristic? Or what is the difference between the two? There are only key differences. What is their desire? An ignorant person, an avidvamso, he is attached to his deeds, and his key motto in life is to satisfy myself. What will I earn? What is my profit? How will I succeed? This is how he is thinking. Now, what is the difference between a self-realized person, a vidwan? He is only objective is satisfy Krishna. You may be wondering, how is this possible? How is Krishna saying you have to be self-realized, you are a Vidwan, provided you satisfy me. We will go through examples in the coming verse. And he says, what is the key characteristic of a self-realized person? Kuryat vidvam satasaktaha. He is working without attachment to results. He takes what comes as Krishna Prasad. He is not really going to lose his cool. And that's the way we have to learn. What we have to live in our lives, what is that we have to bring as a change in our life is to work. Kuryat vidvam satasaktaha. Why? We are self-realized, we are a devotee, but Krishna says this, you are still duty bound to do that because Chikirsur Loka Sangraham. You should lead by example. You should set an example for the others to learn. People learn by seeing and not only learn by listening. And you keep saying that you please do this, you please do this. That is sometime not going to give you results. It is better to lead by example, walk the talk. It is for him to understand what mistake I am doing and how I should correct myself. Going forward in this verse, you will see this very nicely explained. Sakta karma. Who is he? He is Sakha. He is attached to his results, so he is a karma kandi. And what is the difference between a Vidwan? He is Asaktaha. Asakta karma. So he is karma yogi, ignorant person in a karma kandi. So with this, we go to the next verse. Now, before I start the verse, I thought let's look at a story so that you start understanding what is the context. Krishna is driving here. This is a story in a village between, there are two friends, Govind, who is a wise farmer, and Gopal, who is a potter. Govind is a very balanced person, simpleton. He is engaged in a risky endeavor, prescribed duty of farming. And he's got a lot of risk to manage, but then he comes home very happy, lives a simple, contented life. Gopal, on the other hand, is more, I would say, skilled. He is one of those good potters in town. He does the best pots available in that part of this village. He earns good money. He's quite successful. He's ambitious, just like any of us. Good Dharma yogi. And he also has this issues of suffering from stress. Some days he does very well, and some days he doesn't do well. When he does well, he's very happy. Some days he doesn't do well, he's not very happy. So he says, "Oh, Govind," and they are quite good friends. And Gopal is observing Govind continues to live a very peaceful life. He really not given into these mood swings and the rat race picture that Gopal is suffering from. So he goes and asks Govind, can you please tell me what is that I can do? I also feel I must give up all this thing and rush to the forest and start meditating. I find you to be very successful in doing this, even though you are a farmer. So then Govind says, don't worry, Gopal. I don't think there is anything wrong with what you're doing. Just observe what are the things that you can perhaps change. And then he says, I'm not a good potter like you, but I will do 1 or 2 days your work just to show you how things can change. So Gopal gives away his part of the job for 2 days to Govind. Govind does pottery work. He's not as successful as Gopal, sells less. Some pots break during the course of the day, what have you, because he's not a skilled person like Gopal. And at the end of the day, when someone wants who's in need, he gives away a pot free. And he comes home and says, Gopal, I have not been able to earn as much money as you have. And then Gopal says, are you not worried? How are they going to meet our expenses for tomorrow? Govind says, don't worry, Gopal. Now, if you were to ask me, if I have to show you what's the change, just look at this. Take it as it comes. Say your prayers and get down to work. Say your prayers and finish your work. Whatever comes, take it as goodwill of the Lord. So this is the exchange that happens between Gopal and Govind. So with this context, let's go to this verse. Na buddhi bedam janaye, gnanam karma sanginam, joshayat sarva karmani, vidwan yukta samacharan. So very, very important, very powerful line. Vidwan yukta samacharan. Let's see what is this message. The essence of this verse is don't disturb the ignorant. You saw Govind allowing Gopal to lead his life the way he wanted. He only when Govind Gopal came and asked, he said, I will tell you what are the changes, subtle changes that you could do. He did not impose, he did not force, he did not shout, he did not talk loudly, he didn't say that I am the expert, listen to me. That is silent running. Let's look at the translation. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men, na buddhi veda janayet. Attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties. What was Gopal? A good potter, very ambitious. Keep this in mind. Ajnanam karma sangina. He was performing his prescribed duties, but he was attached to his results. A learned person, that is Govind, Vidwan, should not induce them to stop work. And we saw that. Govind never said, oh Gopal, do this particular way. Change the way you are. No. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, Samacharan Yukta, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Sarva karmani joshayet. What does this mean? Remember what did Govind do? Govind detailed his work for the pleasure of Krishna. He didn't do anything different. He started the day with a prayer to Krishna and ended the day with a prayer to Krishna, accepted whatever came his way as Krishna Prasad. That is the essence of this verse. And he never said, oh, Gopal, you are not able to do what I am able to do. Since Gopal went and asked Govind, he only gave him an example as perhaps how you could change yourself. Let's now, Vidwan Yukta Samacharan. This is the bhakti principle. Detail your work for Krishna, whatever prescribed duty you're up to. Next, Joshayat Sarva Karmani. One is bhakti principle. Uh, think, start the day with the Lord, end the day with the Lord. Whatever happens during the course of the day, whatever the results you achieve, it is His. You are only offering it to Him. You are not going to complain. You are not going to overjoy or rejoice, saying that today has been a great day. No. And while doing your farming, Govind was always particular that I am doing this under your shelter. I am surrendered unto you. My farming is my way of worship to you, O Lord Krishna. That was his attitude. This is what we should be doing. Don't tail our work for the pleasure of Krishna. If you're going to chant, Amrinder Prabhu said in the last class, chant for the pleasure of Krishna. That is the essence of this word. And do not disturb the ignorant. Leave them to follow their path. They will see you and try to learn whatever they can. So, what is the way we understand this? Ajnanam karma sanginam. Ignorant man. What does he do? He's attached to fruitive results of performing his prescribed duties. Vidwan yukta samacharan. The self-realized soul engages in devotion, bhakti through his work. He is not going to sit and only meditate. No, that is not devotion. Devotion is offer whatever you are doing for the pleasure of the Lord. And na buddhi vedam janaye. Do not disturb the ignorant person by trying to tell him, do this, do that. Don't induce them to stop work either. Let them continue on their path. They will find their destination in a slow process. Dovetail your what is the difference? Self-realized soul. What did Govind do as a farmer? He dovetailed his work in the spirit of devotion. Sarva karmani joshayet. And he was only trying to lead by example. He is not trying to uh, give him a lecture. He's not trying to change his way of doing things because that many times ends up in resistance and you don't really achieve much. Now, the question is, what will happen to Gopal, who is ignorant? The essence I am now adding this is he will follow the path gradual elevation because Vedas are there to guide all of us in performing the prescribed duties. So, what does Vedas tell us? It tells us what Vedic rituals to follow, what material benefits you want. You perform that puja, perhaps you will get that benediction. Offer sacrifices to the demigods. They will be happy. ultimate goal is to understand Krishna. That will come in the 15th chapter. So you allow the person like Gopal to follow his path. He will also reach the final stage through a gradual step of elevation. These are the two verses we have covered where Krishna says, do not, you can guide the ignorant people through example. Do not try to enforce. Do not try to impose. This, what is the learning from the day? After having gone through these two verses, is make judgments. What is our judgment? I will work on the path of satisfying Krishna. I will chant for the pleasure of Krishna. But will I impose? Will I show off? Will I demonstrate that I am better than the others? No. Because then, if I were to say, oh Gopal, oh Govind, you are not doing this correctly, then I am becoming judgmental. So there's a very big difference in this two. You can make a judgment for yourself what is right, what is wrong. You should not be judgmental on others to tell him what he is doing is right, what he is doing is wrong. That is the essence of learning. Let's move to the next verse. Again, I will start with a story. I don't want to go into the verse directly because there is a verse, there is a translation, and it becomes too much information overload in 1 hour. Let's go to the story, enjoy the story. The story will remain imprinted in our minds much more longer than any verse and translation. What is the story? So there was a king, an emperor, who had come back home victorious. He had vanquished his enemy and he had declared in this kingdom that I am going to celebrate, and today is a victory run. And the whole town was agog with excitement. There was sounding of musical instruments, and there was a festive atmosphere all over. And as the king said, oh, charioteer, let's start the victory march. The chariot started rolling. It was like, huge procession, and the horses galloped. Their hooves were thundering against the earth. The wheels spun furiously, crushing the stones and kicking up massive clouds of dust. What have you? You can imagine this in front of you. There was a king who was running his chariot to show to the world that I have won this battle and I am successful, I am victorious. Given this scene, there is a fly which suddenly comes in the path of this chariot and sits on the hub of the chariot wheel, and says, wow, what a nice ride this is. Look at that. What is the contribution that I'm making to this king's chariot? It is because of me the horses are running well. It is because of me the chariot is making so much of noise. And because of me, this king is having such a lovely victory celebration. I am leaving this story here for your imagination and reflection. What is the contribution of the fly to the victory celebration? It was just sitting on the wheel, on the top of the wheel, and it was just a passenger. But this is what happens in most of our lives. We mistake ourselves. We give undue importance to our capability and say that it is because of us that this is happening. So keep this context in mind and we go to the verse. This is the principle of delusion of doership. Who was running the chariot? The charioteer was there, the king was there, the horses were there. But what did the fly think? It's because of me, this whole thing is happening. Most of us have this lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. After reading this verse, taking home this wisdom, we will all be at a level where Krishna is telling Arjuna, please realize you are not the only doer. Let's go to the verse. Prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Ignorant jiva thinks he is the doer. Remember the fly. Translation. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, ahankara vimudhatma, thinks manyate, himself the doer of activities, karta aham iti, that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature, Prakrute Kriyamanani. So we should remember that as a jiva, even whatever action we are doing, we are in chapter 3, Karma Yoga, Yoga of Action. We are only partially responsible for any action that we do. That is what Krishna is trying to tell us in this verse. Let's go through this. This is the Jivatma. What is Kriya? Kriya means action. Kriya Manani means the action that is being done. Who is doing it? It is being done by the Prakriti. That is what is the essence of learning. Now, this Jivatma, the soul, which is carrying out this action, can exist in two consciousness. One is material, another is Prakrute Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasaha in Krishna consciousness. He is very clear that it is Prakriti which is helping me do all my actions. Gunai Karmani Sarvasaha. It is the three modes which are responsible more than me in doing all my actions. That is knowledge. If you are able to understand, take this learning away. That is Gita wisdom for our lifetimes. Gunai karmani sarvasaha. All the actions are being performed under the influence and imposition of the three modes. We can't step away from the influence of the three modes. But what happens to this Jivatma who is in material consciousness? He always thinks, I did this. I tried doing this. I did not succeed. I wanted to hit six in the last over of the match. I was caught. This I is our limitation. If you can understand that any given situation, any action that we perform, it is not I alone, it is not my Atma alone who is responsible. Do not have this Ahankara. Krishna is saying very clearly, Ahankara Vimudatma Arjuna, you are not the cause of whatever action you are doing. Even though you are in the battlefield, you don't want to fight, and I am telling you to fight, please understand, you as a Kshatriya has to do your prescribed duties of a Kshatriya. Do not try to tell me that I will go to the forest and meditate because that's not going to happen. Three modes will not allow you to perform that because that is not your swabhava, that is not your character. Kar feels he is the doer. And what is the conclusion? Like the fly said, because of me, the victory run is so successful. Kartaham iti manyate. Now, takes credit for everything. If I succeed, I have done it. If I don't succeed, I have failed. Now, this is a limited understanding, and that's what puts us in a lot of stress, and we have a lot of sufferings, and we very few days throughout our lifetimes we find that I did everything and it went the way I wanted it to, because most of the things are not in our hands. Going forward in 18th chapter, I will show you that verse where you see you are only 20% contributor to any action. So this spiritually realized person, all of us who are now going through Gita, should have this understanding that my action is under the influence of the three modes of material nature. Understand the Prakriti under the Lord is the doer. That is the essence. The delusion of doership has to be shattered. Our ego should be packed up. We are not responsible for our actions. We are not responsible for our success or failure either. Who is failure? The controller is Krishna as Rishikesha, master of senses. He is directing the Prakriti to fulfill the desires of the Jiva. This is the essence of this verse. This is what tells us the delusion of doership. Now, you may be wondering, oh, well, I have understood the example of a fly, but still, I'm not really very clear as to how the Prakriti can be doing more than me, because it is me who is doing this act. I am doing this, I am performing this. Let's go through this nice example. Here is a farmer. This is from Vedanta Sutra. And farmer has an axe, he is skilled, he goes to a timber merchant, he says, give me a job. The timber merchant is very happy and he says, okay, you have a target to cut 15 trees every day. So the farmer starts from day one, he's very efficient and he cuts 15 trees, goes back home satisfied. The next day he comes to work, he does the same amount of work, He puts in even more hard work, but he's not able to reach the target of 15. He ends up at 13. Next day is even worse. He ends up at 10. He is disappointed, distressed, like most of us are when things don't go our way. He goes to the timber merchant and says, Sir, I'm very sorry. I'm not able to perform well. I'm not able to meet your targets. Timber merchant just says, Can you please tell me, have you sharpened your axe? Farmer says, I had no time. I had to cut 15 trees, so the whole day is gone in cutting trees. I forgot to sharpen the axe. And the essence of this is that most of us realize that when we start working, we are only focused on the work and we forget that there are other things like sadhana which will help us perform the same work better than what we were doing before. The farmer realized that I had to sharpen my axe. What is that example of sharpen my axe for any of us doing any of our prescribed duties? It shows that I have to see and use the tool better than what I used to use daily before or a day before. Now, the Vedanta Sutra says the learning is you look at who is doing this action. It is the farmer or the axeman. He has the desire, cut the tree. He has the tool, the axe, cut the tree. And he is cutting the tree. So the action is also complete. But he's not able to understand, he's not able to realize what he wants to do of 15 trees a day. Why? Now, it is not that he is alone responsible for this. Now, the axe is quite capable of cutting the tree on its own. The axe cannot act on its own. Why? The axe does not have consciousness. So the person holding the axe is conscious. He has a desire, like all of us have a desire, and he has a tool, but still is not able to reach the goal. Now, what is that which is coming in the way? It is sadhana. It is focusing on the tool. That is what Krishna is telling all of us through Arjuna. Focus on the tool. How I can walk the path of sadhana. How I can bring changes in myself. How I can realize that no, hard work is not enough. I also have to ensure that I bring in divine blessings. I seek his surrender. I offer my surrender to him and seek his blessings to succeed in every task I set out to do at the beginning of the day. Going forward, the delusion of doership. However skilled you are, however the best of instruments and tools you have, you still have a limitation if you do not understand this concept. Sadhana is most important. Sadhana on the right path, overcome the influences of the three modes. In 18th chapter, in the 14th verse, Krishna gives us, he opens up the cards completely to Arjuna. He says, अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता कारणं च पृथक् विधम विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टा दैवं चैवत्र पंचमम. He says, place of action, adhisthanam, that is our body. Performer, I. We always say, I want to do it. Yes, you are the performer, Jivatma. The various senses, you have five senses under your control. The many different kinds of endeavor you want to do, and ultimately the super soul, Daivam Chaivatra Panchamam. These are the five factors for action. Remember, as a Jivatma, we only contribute 20% to the task, any task that we do. So this gives us the clarity of delusion of doership. So thinking I am the sole doer is ignorance. What is the learning? Free me from the delusion that I am the sole doer. What does it do? Helps foster humility. I told you, this is the magic mantra of Krishna for all of us to live in this world. Helps us foster humility. I am not the only cause for my success. Reduces pride in success and distress in failure. Surrendering to worship enhances devotion. We all want to be good devotees, and that starts when you say, I am not the only doer. I am depending on Krishna's mercy to do my task. Let's go to the next verse. Tattvavitu mahabaho gunakarma vibhagayo gunaguneshu vartanta iti matvana sajjate. Knower of the absolute truth. So now Krishna is walking us to the path of knowledge. He has told us we are not the sole doers. And then now he's giving us even more deeper insights as to how this karma yoga has to be performed, how we can be a karma yogi rather than a karma kandi. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth. We will know today what is absolute truth. Tattva with two means the one who knows the absolute truth. Almighty armed Mahabahu does not engage himself in the senses. Anyone who is a Tattvavid will not engage himself in the senses because he knows the senses under the control of guna, guna karma vibhavayo, and sense gratification, guna guneshu vartanta. Knowing well the differences between work and devotion and work for fruitive results. Iti matva na sajjati. So we should understand I should not be attached to my results. I should be working in devotion. The results are under the, you can say, control of the Lord. This is only then, this is knowledge, then you become Tattvavid. This is how Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. Let's go through the explanation. We are Jivatma and we want to understand this absolute truth. This is knowledge. Unless we study Gita, unless we study Bhagavatam, we will not be able to get this wisdom. Krishna is telling Arjuna that one who reads Srimad Bhagavatam, who has the understanding of absolute truth, and what is the absolute truth? Lord is in three forms. He is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. That one who has this knowledge is called Tattvavid. In 2.16, in second chapter, Krishna has used the word Tattva Darshibihi. Tattva Darshibihi means he knows, he is the seer of truth. Tattvavid means he is the knower of truth. So this is the person who is known as Tattvavid Mahabaho. Understand that I have three features, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Next, he, one who is Tattvavid, knows the real identity of all of us as Jivatmas. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. We are the eternal fragmental parts of the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna. Guna, Dharma, Vibhavayo. This guna has three modes, that is Sattva guna, Rajas, and Tamas. And each of this has a different way of influence in our lives. That is what is understanding guna, karma, vibhagayo. Guna guneshu vartanta. Now, what is guna? Senses. What is guneshu? Sense objects. Now, what is sense? Sight. Now, for example, my eyes can see. So the sense is sight. What is the sense object? Beautiful form. It could be a painting, it could be a lovely temple, it could be a lovely deity. When we visit the altar in a temple, the sight senses engages the sense objects, that is guna, guneshu, vartanta. They act with each other. If you are a tattva with Mahabaho, O Arjuna, please understand how to live in this material world. Understand this guna, guneshu, is not under your control. You are under the control of the three modes. Please understand that. Do not attach yourself too much to sense gratification. It is not going to take you anywhere. Na sajjate. Only then you can remain detached. Why you can remain detached? Because you know that the senses are within me, the sense objects are external to me, the sense will connect with the sense object. I have to only tell the right way of doing it. And to do that, we must have the knowledge of the Supreme Lord who is going to bless us in our effort. That's the reason why we should have the perfect understanding of the truth. And that is the absolute truth. And that is Krishna. And Krishna has different forms. There are many people who say, oh, I believe in Brahman. I am Advaitavadi. Someone will say, I am Mayavadi. I am Brahmavadi. Ultimately, as devotees, we are Bhagwanvadis. We believe the Lord is in this personal form. The Lord is there to listen to us, listen to our prayers, and bless us in our day to day lives and lead our path for His pleasure, for His satisfaction. Let's go to the next verse. Prakrutir guna sammudaha sajjante guna karmasu tana kritsna vidamandan kritsna vinna vichalayet. This is another verse which Krishna is saying, like what he said in the earlier verses, the wise should elevate, not agitate the ignorant. Live him to follow his path. He will reach the goal. Maybe he will take time, but do not try to interfere. So this is a very powerful message that Krishna is telling us again and again. We can cultivate path of learning, path of devotion, path of surrender. We will gain the benefits. We can only show others this by example. We are not here to impose. That is not the path that Krishna is asking us to follow. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, prakrutir guna sammudaha, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. Sajjante guna karmasu. But the wise, Krishna with, should not unsettle them. Na vichalet. Although these duties are inferior, tanmandan, due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Vidaha. So Krishna is saying, allow the ignorant to learn. He can learn by observing us. We will not go and impose our thoughts on him because that is not going to give you the desired results. Don't disturb the ignorant. That is the essence of this verse. Prakrute, let's go through the explanation. And a flow diagram tells us very easily what Krishna is trying to tell us. He says, Prakrute guna sammudaha. Now, we should recognize the words now. Moodha. Moodha is one who is deluded. He doesn't understand. He doesn't have the right knowledge. Samyak rupena moodha is sammudha. Sammudha means he is completely deluded. In the next few verses, we will see there is another word called Vimudha. So he is also, so you have Mudha, who is deluded, you have Vimudha, who is to a large extent deluded, and you have Samudha, who is completely deluded. Good, better, best. And what is the characteristic of this person who is a Samudha? He is ignorant, lazy, Manda. He has no desire to pick up spiritual realization. Sajjante Gunakarma. So he is very happy performing his task under the influence of the three modes. In the last verse, we say, Iti Madhvana Sajjate. Here, the verse says, Sajjante Gunakarmusu. I am completely attached to the senses because I believe I am the cause of all the success. I want to enjoy. There is only one life. This is ignorance, then this is what you will get. Tan akrisna vidomantan. Krishna Vido means less knowledge. I am not aware of anything which is spiritual. Mandan. I am lazy. I don't want to spend time. I can't find time to go and attend a class or open a book, read it, try to understand it. No, that's not my cup of tea. What makes me happy? I would be happy to engage in social work. I'm a nationalist. I'm an altruist. I will do Agama Seva. I don't want to go near Madhava Seva because I don't understand it, neither I have the inclination. I am very happy doing religious rituals because it has been told in my family. My grandfather did it, my father did it, and I am going to do it. I am very happy following the path shown by my elders. I am this body. This is my conclusion. There's nothing like soul, there's nothing like super soul. All that is not up to my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. So this is the person. So we must let him be as he is. So if we are spiritual, we are devoted. What we do, Krishna vinna vichalet. In that verse, we have said, Na veda, na buddhi veda janayet. Here Krishna is saying, Krishna vinna vichalet. Do not disturb him. Allow him to be peaceful. Allow him to follow his path. Do not agitate them. Perform spiritual activities silently. It is for our benefit. Engage them in moral work. If you have an opportunity, you can tell them, you can suggest them and say that, please follow this. If they listen to you, well and good. If they don't listen to you, it's fine. Let's go to the next verse. The story is, again, a story will tell us what is the context of the verse. The story is about the king, hook, and the sage. So here, the cook, the king, goes to his what you can say, the teacher, the sage, who is to advise him on all things, and says, "Oh dear sage, I am very unhappy because I have been ruling, I am successful. Now I think I want to do spiritual activities. I'll go to the forest and meditate." Similar to what Arjuna was saying. Then the sage says, "Oh dear king, let me do one thing. I want to give you some example. I don't want you to rush to the forest. Let's go to your kitchen." And he takes him to the kitchen. And there sees his cook. And he says, the sage tells the king, "Just observe what your cook is doing during the course of the day." So they observe, he has a recipe book, Monday to Sunday. He looks at the recipe book. Today is Monday, and he prepares the dishes. And he doesn't taste the dish except for tasting the salt. And then you ask him, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm cooking for the pleasure of the king." Then he burns his fingers or he cuts his fingers while cutting vegetables, and then some pain, some burns. And then the king asks, "Oh, are you not worried? You're suffering." He says, "Oh no, when I'm in the work of a cook for the king, all this is fine. I don't really take this as extra pain." And then end of the day, he goes home and "What is your joy? What is the source of your happiness?" King asks this cook. The cook says, "I'm very happy because the king is happy. He's enjoyed my cooking and he has served a lot of guests today." King says, "Oh well, he's doing everything for the king and he's very happy doing it." This is context. Let's go to the verse. "Mಯಿ sarvani karmani sannyāsadhyātma cetasa nirāsirnirmāmu bhūtva yudhyasva vigatachvaraha." Very important verse. This is the purpose of Gita. I sent a video yesterday saying that we are going to discuss purpose of Gita. And I wanted more people to join because most of us have this most critical challenge, that is time. How do we manage time? We always struggle to find time for any activity which is spiritual. I said we are going to study purpose of Gita to join in. Why? Because this is a classic. You are learning by example. Krishna is saying to us in Gita, do your duty depending on me. Whatever is your urgency, leave it aside, listen to my message. That is where knowledge is going to come to us. Let's see what Krishna tells us in this verse. Let's go through the translation and then beautiful explanation for this verse. He says, "Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, Mai sarvani karmani, sannyasya, with full knowledge of me, adhyatma chesasa, without desire for profit, nirasir nirmama bhutva, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, vigata shwaraha, fight, yudhiyasva." Acharyas tell us that this verse, every line is a lesson for us. Now let's start from the bottom. Yudhiyasva vigata shwaraha. Krishna is asking Arjuna, fight. And this is the mode of ignorance. And he's also saying, not just fight, Arjuna, fight without lethargy. The lesson for us is that do your work. Yes, time is a challenge. Can we find a way to accommodate that time to listen to this 1 hour of Gita class? Because this is a lifetime of enlightenment. Yuddhyasva vigata jvara. Fight, but without lethargy. Next. Nirasir nirmamu bhutva. Do not be attached. Do not have a desire. Do not always say that I want to do this. Because of this, I must complete it today. I can't attend the class. This is your conclusion, then you're still in the mode of passion. If you're able to say that, no, I want to listen, I want to learn, then you are moving away from the mode of passion. Mode of passion to what? Sannyasya adhyatma chetasa. This is spiritual consciousness. What is the essence of reading Gita, listening to Gita, or studying Gita? The essence is I want to move away my consciousness from material focus to spiritual focus. There is something which is beyond me, and I must make an attempt to understand that. That is sannyas adhyatma chesasa. There has to be a mode of surrender. There has to be giving up of ego. You must cultivate humility. How you can do that? Mayi sarvani karmani, transcendental, by offering all that I want to do to the Supreme Lord. Simple. That is the essence of Gita. That is the purpose of Gita. Do whatever prescribed duty you are engaged in, but do it for me. That is, do it for the pleasure of me. That is the learning of purpose of Gita. There is a lovely poem in Padyavali by Jaydev Goswami. This is quoted by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. He says, just as land without water turns to desert, just as living being cannot survive without food, as a sick person desperately needs medicine, as a traveler in the desert longs for water, as one in famine cries out for food, as flowers need sunlight to blossom, similarly, O Lord, I need you. You can't find words to express the sentiments that is there in this Padhyavali. So he's giving you all the examples to say that if I have to do what they are doing, like a flower has to blossom, it needs sunlight. If I have to blossom, I need you, oh my Lord. And we say that we have no time for you. That is the correction we must try to inculcate in ourselves. Do your duty depending on me. That is the purpose of Gita. Let's quickly go through. Krishna, surrender all your works unto me. My sarvani karmani. This is the first time Krishna is used in Gita. My. My means unto me. He's saying, surrender your work unto me. Say that, Krishna, I am doing it for you with full knowledge of me. And what is that knowledge? You know, you have gone through Tattva with Mahabahu. We have studied Tattva Darshivihi. We know what's the absolute truth. He is the Supreme Lord. So you're not doing it because you like to do it. You are doing it with full knowledge. Sannyas Adhyatma Chetasam. With no claim of proprietorship. Nirmamo Utva. Without desire for profits. If there is a profit at the end of the day, blessing from Krishna, you will get it. Nobody can steal what is there with your born with. Anyone can steal what is there in your hands, what is there in your purse, but nobody can steal what you are blessed with. Free from lethargy, fight, Yudhiyasva Vigatachwaraha. As much as it is applicable to Arjuna, who is in the battlefield, it is applicable to all of us because we are also in the battlefield of life. Give up our mode of ignorance, give up our mode of passion, cultivate spiritual consciousness, and then you reach beyond mode of goodness, is transcendental. When you have that mood of surrender, I am doing this for Krishna. This is the most essential learning from Gita, which we have covered today. Do your duty depending on me. Surrender all your works unto me. What is the learning? Let me express my love for you with the entire being. My breathing, my living, my working, everything is for the love of Krishna. This is the learning we can take home. Now we are coming to the last section of this session today, where Krishna is telling us what happens if you follow the purpose of Gita and what happens you do not follow his message. Let's see what happens if you follow his message. He says, Ye me matam idam nityam anutishanti manavaha shraddhavanto anusuyanto uchyante pi karma vihi. What is the result of following my teachings? Translation. Those persons, ye manava, all of us, who execute their duties, all of us are doing our prescribed duties, nityam anutishanti, according to my injections, me idam matam, and who follow this teaching faithfully, shraddhavanto, without envy, anushuyanto, become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. Te karma bhi uchyante. So if you follow the message of Krishna, then you have got freedom from bondage. And all of us want to live or lead our life in this world free from karma bandhanaha. Krishna is saying, what you should do? Follow the purpose of Gita. Understand you are under the delusion of doership. You are not the only person responsible for your deeds, success, or failure. A quick look at how the flow of this verse is. Krishna is telling, Eme matam idam. Please listen to my words, wisdom, nityam anuti shanti manava. He says, Oh Arjuna, this is not because you are in the battlefield, I'm giving you this advice. This is nityam anuti shanti manava. This is my eternal message. And he's also saying, not only listen, not only understand, implement, have faith. You cannot follow Gita if you do not have faith. Don't have envy. If you do this with faith, without envy, what is the result? The result is muchyante pi karma bihi, freedom from bondage. And he's also emphasizing your faith should be firm. It cannot be that today I have some belief and tomorrow someone challenges me, I am willing to change. That is shifting belief. You have to be very firm. I do it for Krishna. I started doing it. I will do it. I will continue doing it. If your faith is firm, you are sure of success. If your faith is not firm, you are not sure of success. And if you are able to follow his words, Yeme matam idam nityam manuti shanti manavaha, freedom is from bondage. Muchyante pi karma vihi. So this is a positive result of listening to Krishna's words. The last verse, okay, what is the learning? The learning is studying Bhagavad Gita without faith has no benefit. You must understand knowledge will come only if you follow the rules of the game. You cannot play football on a cricket pitch. So you cannot study Gita and say that I want to benefit if you don't have faith. That is the essential learning. I have this video, if it plays, where we had our prime
दो
minister.
देश के प्रमुख लोग मिलते हैं तो एक दूसरे को गिफ्ट देते हैं। आपको जानकर के खुशी होगी, मैं गिफ्ट देने के लिए गीता ले आया था, भगवत गीता, क्योंकि मेरे पास इससे बढ़कर के देने को कुछ नहीं है और दुनिया के पास भी इससे बढ़कर पाने के लिए कुछ नहीं है। दो देश।
So I hope you understood it. There is no gift bigger than Gita that I can give. And there is no bigger gift that anyone in this world can receive. That's what the message of the Prime Minister. That shows you how important is this Gita for all of us to change, transform our lives while living in this world, doing our prescribed duties. Last verse for the day. This is telling what will happen if you do not listen to my words. Yetva etad avashyayanto nanuti shanti me matam. Sarvagnana vimudham stan vidinastan achetasaha. If you turn away from Krishna, then it defeats the purpose of knowledge. If you are not sure and if you don't believe that I do Gita, I study Gita, and I have firm faith in Krishna, he says, you are not going to get that spiritual consciousness. Vidinastan achetasaha. Translation. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. If you continue to do what you did, you will gain what you were gaining. If you are able to change, if you are able to read, if you're able to listen, if you're able to understand what Krishna is telling us, then the path of light is open to all of us. What is Krishna saying? How to follow his words. He says, if you are doing it out of envy, yetve itad avashyayanto nanuti shanti me matam. Do not follow my instructions. You say, oh, well, it is too much for me. I can't do it. Then he says, what is the result? The result is sarvagnana vimudham sthan. You are deluded in all knowledge. You will not understand the purpose of Gita. You will not understand the delusion of doership. Vidinasthan achetasha. Whatever you do, you will be ruining your results. You will not get what you desire because you have not understood the fundamentals of how to live in this world. Turning away from Krishna defeats the purpose of knowledge. I will give you an example to understand what Krishna is trying to say. If you look towards the sun, what do you get? You see a brilliant form and there is light all around us. What will happen if you turn away from the sun? You will have a shadow. That is the importance. First, understand, study, implement, execute, and gain the benefits of Krishna's words. Now, talent, skill, education, all these in the material world will take you some distance. This is an example of the best surgeon in town you can find. He has all the qualifications, he is highly skilled. But if his consciousness is not right, what will happen? If his consciousness is right and he's following the words of Krishna, he will work throughout his life to save patients because he says that is his duty, that is his prescribed duty. Vidinasta chetasaha. If his consciousness is misdirected, you may guess what happens. I don't want to put it on the slide. He may use this knowledge to steal organs. So the same successful surgeon who has the best knowledge which he gained by hard work, just because his consciousness is misdirected, vidinastana chetasaha, what did he do? He ended up stealing organs, killing people for profit, or causing suffering to people for profit. So this is what happens if you do not follow the words of Krishna. Turning away from Krishna defeats purpose of knowledge. With this, we come to the end of the session, and I will now throw open the quiz. Prabhuji, with your help, shall we?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm ready.
Perfect. Here we go. The first question. Verse 3.25 says, as ignorant people perform duties with attachment to results, how should the wise act? We have studied this. Answers. You can choose. Abandon all duties. Act without attachment for world's welfare. Seek personal gains. Follow only the rituals. Who would like to go first?
Ramesh ji has raised his hand.
Yes, Ramesha, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Shama.
Hare
B.
Krishna.
Act without attachment for world's welfare.
Are you very sure?
Yes, I think so.
Lock किया जाए?
Please.
Let us see what's the right answer. The correct answer is B. Well done, Ramesha. You walk away with 50 points. Brilliant. Let's go for the next question. The question is, this is from 3.26, and all of you can participate because these questions are very, very easy. They're all linked to what we have studied just a few minutes back. What should the wise not do? If you're a Vidwan, not do to the ignorant attached to fruity work. Choices. Inspire them to work better. Create discord in their intellect. Ignore their duties. Or spiritual knowledge of them. I see Anusha, I see Ramesha, I see Saptadeep.
I think
Shall we
Anusha
give
had
it to
raised her
Anusha
hand
this time?
first. Hmm.
Okay. So, with the permission of Ramesh and Saptadeep, I'll give it to Anusha. Go ahead, Anusha.
Babaji, I feel B and D are more relevant.
B and D, is it? B
Yes, I
as
could
create
be
this
wrong.
one. Okay. Shall I lock the answer
Yes,
with
Prabhuji.
your? Okay, here we go. Let's see what's the right answer. The correct answer is A. It's neither B nor D. So, what did Govind do as a farmer? Did he go and tell Gopal, create discord in their intellect, ignore their duties, force spiritual knowledge on them? He says, no, I only inspire you to work better. If you want, you can see what I'm doing. There is a better way of doing things. So, inspire them to work better is the right answer. So, you lose this. Never mind. We have three more questions to go. Let's see how you can make up. Fight. Here we go. Question number 3. What delusion binds actions according to ego? Seeing fruits as certain, thinking I am the sole doer, blaming others, denying influence of gunas. Who would like to go?
Okay, Srinidhi has raised her
Srinidhi.
hand.
Okay. Yes,
Prabhuji,
Srinidhi, go
B.
ahead.
Option B. I am
Thinking
the
and
sole doer.
sure.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Let's see what's the right answer. Correct answer is B. Well done. You walk away with full points. Excellent. Question number 4. Who truly acts as per Krishna? This is what he says in 3.29. Ego, which says, I am the doer because I am doing it. Destiny and fate, it's all written. Gunas, 3 modes known by the wise. Surrendered souls. Ramesha has raised his hands. Saptadeep has raised his hands. Krishna Mohan Prabhu has raised his hands. Now, I
So
had seen
maybe,
Saptadeep raise. So
yeah,
the
maybe you can
second
give
time he's
chance to
trying.
Saptadeep, because second time
Yeah,
he has raised.
Saptadeep, you try. Krishna Mohan Prabhu, please try for the next question. Here you go, Saptadeep.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The answer is option C, gunas, 3
Sure.
modes known by the wise. Yes, Prabhuji.
Shall I lock it?
Yeah.
Let us see. The correct answer is C, Gunas, 3 modes known by the wise. So well done. You walk away with full points. Last question of the day, and Krishna Mohan Prabhu, let us see. And Anusha is also there. If you can make up and do your best for this question. What happens to those who follow Krishna's words perfectly? That's what we heard in 3.31. Gain wealth and prosperity, become rich, stop all work to help avoid bondage, freed from bondage of action, engage in pious human service.
Okay, Krishna Mohan
Saptadeep,
Prabhu.
Krishna Mohan. So this time I'll give it to Krishna Mohan Prabhu. Here you go, Prabhu.
Hare
Golden
Krishna
chance.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, is
Hare
she
Krishna.
free from bondage of actions?
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Lock किया जाए.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let us see. The correct answer is C, freed from bondage of action. Well done. So you get full points. Excellent. Congratulations to all the winners. And most important is participation. Don't worry about what marks Krishna says. Leave the results to me. I will take care of them. With that, we have finished the session for the day. Now, I know that we are 4 minutes ahead of time. Or sorry, 4 minutes over time. If you want to share your learnings, let's spend the next 2-3 minutes. We can cover 1 or 2 people. Over to you. Is it okay,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji?
we have 4 minutes. It's 8:11 now. So 8:15 is a
Okay.
so we have we are
Oh,
ahead.
perfect. Done. I thought perfectly fine then. We are well within time. Go ahead. Who would like to come first? There you go.
Hare
Sir.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. धन्यवाद. मैं बोल सकता हूँ प्रभु जी. May I speak in Hindi if you allow to me speak in Hindi?
Please, Prabhuji.
Yes, प्रभु जी.
बोलिए,
Today's
आराम
session
से
is
बोलिए.
learning प्रभु जी की. Yes, प्रभु जी, जो आपने एक एग्जांपल दिया था गोविंद का और गोपाल का कि जो उन्होंने वर्क को कैसे करना है बड़ा स्ट्रेस में लेके और वो वर्क को कर रहे थे और उन्होंने उसी काम को बड़े बहुत अच्छे तरीके से करा. हालांकि उनको उस काम में थोड़ा लॉस भी हुआ जो पॉट मेकिंग कर रहे थे और वो इतना इफेक्ट नहीं, फिर भी उन्होंने कोई स्ट्रेस नहीं लिया. राइट प्रभु जी. तो इसमें यही था प्रभु जी, ये लर्निंग है कि जो भी आपने एक कहा कि जो भी हम काम कर रहे हैं चाहे उसमें गेन है या नहीं है, उसको ऑफर टू कृष्णा, उसको कृष्णा को ऑफर, रिजल्ट को कृष्णा को ऑफर कर दिया जाए, तो हम अपने आप को स्ट्रेस फ्री और फील मतलब किसी तरह से स्ट्रेस में नहीं रहेंगे और काम को अच्छी तरह से परफॉर्म करेंगे। रिजल्ट चाहे कुछ भी हो प्रभु जी, चाहे वो गेन हो चाहे लॉस हो, तो बस हमें स्ट्रेस नहीं रहेगा और हम उसको कृष्णा को ऑफर करेंगे, इसलिए हम भगवान को सरेंडर कर सकेंगे। दिस
परफेक्ट प्रभु जी, परफेक्ट, बढ़िया, थैंक यू वेरी मच। और अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ श्रीनिधि और अनुषा। प्रभु जी, shall we give it in the same order? Srinidhi first and Anusha.
Yeah, you can take a call,
Or,
Prabhu. You have 2 minutes more.
okay. No, I'll slightly reverse the thing. I will first give it to Anusha because she had to face this. She got a wrong answer. Anusha, you go first and then followed by Srinidhi.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. So I have a couple of learnings from today's class. Mainly, I learned that bhakti is not about forcing anybody just because we practice. It's an offering, heartfelt offering to Krishna. And we start everything with prayer. We end everything with prayer. Vich ka sab jo bhi hai, Krishna ke liye hai. And Sarvakarmani Mai Sannyasa, that verse. And we should get out of this illusion that we are the doer, I, me, myself. And we should realize that Krishna is the doer. And we don't agitate anybody unnecessarily. And we set an example by practicing with detached attachment or non-attachment, as you said. And faith is the basement for foundation for everything. Faith gives us victory. Without following anything and without having faith on Krishna, we cannot progress in bhakti. And we should, just like strengthening our muscles by exercising, we should strengthen our faith through japa or practice. And we should heartfully pray that let every action of ours be an offering unto you, Krishna. So this is what I learned, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now, before I call Srinidhi, Anusha, thank you for nicely stating the learnings. Well done. I also wanted to ask you two questions because this is also learning. Because one class, I remember you had asked me, Prabhuji, how do I understand that I have now moved or progressed in my sadhana and I'm now moving towards Bhava Bhakti or Prema Bhakti? I don't know if you remember, but I remember. Are you okay if I
Yes,
ask you
yes.
two questions?
Last class. Yes, Prabhuji, you can ask. Hare Krishna.
Right. Now I'll ask you two questions, and they are rapid fire. You should not think, you should say yes instantaneously. Is it okay?
Right. All right. I'm ready.
Okay. The first question. How many rounds do you chant Anusha Mataji every day?
16.
Perfect answer. Second question. Who are you?
Gopi Bhartur Padakamalyo Dasa Dasana Dasaha.
Very good. Excellent. So one answer is perfect. The other answer is not so perfect. Because if you count your rounds, then you're not doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. You're doing it because it's a task. So this is how we can ask, or these are the test questions which when start telling us, are we really involved in devotion through bhava, or we are doing kriya? Now, this is nothing to take away from the efforts that we are putting in. This is only to give you an example as to how we should measure. Are we really doing what we are doing with bhav, with love, or we are doing it because we want to do something, and that is sadhana. So you understood the difference?
Right, Prabhuji. I also understood where I stand now. Because I do my
Oh,
rounds just to complete my rounds. Actually, I have not gotten into that rasa stage. Thank you, Prabhuji.
don't
Hare
take
Krishna.
it, don't take it from that point of view. It is just that I wanted to give you a feel for how much progress we have to do to come to that level of
Right.
bhava where we are relating to Krishna naturally.
Got it, Prabhuji. Completely. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srinidhi, over to you. And then after that, we'll close the class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danu Pranam. My obeisances to all devotees. Prabhuji, in the story of the woodcutter and the axe, in that woodcutter, he does his work, but he forgets to sharpen his axe. So in that example, we also understood like the sharpening of axe is like sharpening of our intelligence and of our mind. So it is also important that daily we sharpen our intelligence by reading Bhagavad Gita and Shrimad Bhagavatam, and we also remember, like you said, for personal sadhana, like for the mind, it is chanting of mantra, like Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and for the senses, we should engage them in Krishna's service, like that. It's a small understanding. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Well said, Srinivas. That's how it should be. Saptadeep. Shall we take one more, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Pranam to everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, the basic, the main important learnings are that whatever we do, we should always surrender it to Krishna, means not to worry about the results. The fruits we offer it to Krishna, and we work for His pleasure. This is the main core thing which you said. That I just wanted to add that about not to advise or give advice or force spirituality onto ignorance. Because I heard in one of the kathas of Amarendra Prabhu that since we are in a conditioned stage, since if we ourselves are not perfect in our activities, in our acharan, then if we going and advising others, then Mayadevi will act. This happens if we are not perfect in certain thing, and we are giving advice to someone else, means once, yeah, when they are not asking for it, but we are going and advising them, then Mayadevi will act. Just like he gave the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, Mayadevi acted in different ways. His father was means punishing him. So it's because Prahlad Maharaj was preaching to everyone. But it didn't have any effect because Prahlad Maharaj was in that pure state of consciousness, and he's a prophet, he's a Mahajan, Mahabhagavad. So yeah, so for us, we should note this down because it's very important, I think. And I have learned this. It was very new, and I think we all should know this. This is also very important. Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to mention this one point. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, it is. And why Krishna is reinforcing this message so strongly is that he says, no, don't try to change the world, leave it to me. I will change the world. All that you have to focus on is change yourself. By changing yourself, if you can change the world, nothing like it. Don't to be too
Yeah,
worried about how to change the world.
yeah.
That's the
Just like in the
essence of.
previous class, yeah, just like in the previous class, Amarendra Prabhu was very much focusing on that point, that example he gave, that through Acharan only, just there was one devotee, through his activities, everyone was means following him and everyone was changing. So we should focus more on practical application. Yeah, whatever we are learning. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very true. Thank you very much. So with this, thank you all for sharing nice learnings. I hope you feel, yes, we have taken away a lot of learnings for the day. Do enjoy your Saturday evenings and have a lovely Sunday weekend. And thank you very much